Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good morning. How are you?
Very good.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to wait a few more minutes just so we can allow for anybody that might be joining us this morning. How was
Okay.
your week? You had a good week?
Yes, I did. Super busy, but that's what life is all about.
Exactly. Exactly. So I want to see if we can pin um you add pin. And then can we do this? I don't know how we can only show basically. I guess we'll do that for now and just allow some people to join, and then we're gonna go ahead and start. How are you, Megan?
Good.
It is Saturday. So yeah, go ahead and drink some coffee.
And that's still got a lot left. So
Yes, so we have a really good I guess conference set up for today or webinar. We're going to be talking about some new construction opportunities. Emily, yes, Emily is going to be telling us a little bit about different monthly payments depending on your credit score, depending on how much you're putting down. So it's definitely going to be a really, really good meeting. So we're going to wait two more minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and start. Emily, do you have any fun plans for this weekend?
No, last week I took my daughter to college, so this week I'm hoping to kind of
relax.
maybe just chill just a little bit. So
that's awesome. That's exciting. Is your daughter super excited to be kind of now like a grown up on her own sort of?
yeah, she is. She's actually thriving. I think the anxiety was all before she left, and then once she got there, she's like, okay, I've got this. So I'm happy about that.
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
good.
Fun.
Yeah. So any fun plans? Labor Day weekend is coming up. We need to start planning for that. Maybe do a couple posts, maybe a few videos about what's going to be happening here.
Yeah, we've been meaning to go on the Chattahoochee River. They do tubing. Yes. So we've been meaning to do that. Maybe we'll do that for Labor Day.
That would be fun. Emily, have you done that before?
Yes, it is very cold.
Oh, is it? Is it really?
But it's a really fun time. You just like get the tube with the bottom on it. Okay. Otherwise, when you get out, you're a little numb.
Noted. Noted.
But if you get the ones with the bottom, it's actually really nice because you can chill. And then if you want to put like something to drink along the side of you in your little thing, you can, and it works. It's actually, we've done it several times. It's very fun.
Man, yeah. Okay, noted. Maybe I'll buy a full wetsuit.
We've taken our kids, and there's some stops along the way with some trees you can jump out. Like the kids will climb the tree and jump, and they seem to not mind the cold water, but I guess maybe I'm old. It's very cold.
No. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. Just let us know if you like it.
Oh yeah. If I go, I'll definitely get some footage.
Yes, please. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and start. Again, we want to say thank you so much for joining us today. We are very excited to be sharing a little bit about, what's happening in the Georgia real estate market. We know a lot of you are still considering purchasing a house this year, maybe first quarter of 2023, and just, knowing what's going on is going to be very important. So we're going to go ahead and start, and there we go. So first, we're going to, again, review what's happening on the market. Then Megan is going to tell us a little bit about, some opportunities that we have in new communities. There are some houses that might be ready in a couple of months. So if you are thinking about, purchasing a house at the end of this year or even next year, she will give us more information about that. I'm super excited because this is new, that you can actually find a house that will be ready in a couple of months. In the past, a couple of months ago, I guess, it was like, if you want a new construction, you have to wait for sure.
Yeah, long
for-
haul.
Exactly. So sometimes people would, get a little bit frustrated about that. And I understand. And then, Emily, as she's a mortgage broker, she will be sharing with us a little bit more about how much money do you need to buy a house, and really kind of go over the numbers, what your monthly payment could look like if you put X amount of money as a down payment. And then we're going to be reviewing some like rent versus buy options. I think sometimes people don't realize that you could be paying for your house as opposed to renting. So we will discuss that towards the end. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and use the chat box. We are looking at it. We love to hear from you. And at the end, we will open it to Q&A. So we'll definitely, we hope that you will let us know if you have any questions, and then we'll go ahead and start. So we are going to right now review basically what happened on the market on July 2021 and what we're seeing on the market on July of this year. So first of all, we're going to see number of active. So how many houses are for sale right now? So last year we had a little bit over 5,400. This year we have over 8,300. So that is a significant increase in inventory. That's good news. Yeah, that is good news. That is good news because it was just so tough to find a house. I mean, you could find it. It's just that you had to be very aggressive with your offer because there was
no time to wait.
Exactly. So that's good news. That is good news. Now let's go ahead and look at the sold. So last year, 5,800. This year, 3,900. So yes, we are starting to see that less people are buying houses because there's so many reasons, right? Some people are like, oh, well, interest rates, which Emily's going to talk to us about interest rates and how it really affects your purchasing power. So is there a little bit of a slowdown? Yes, there is. Now, let's look at months of supply. If we look at that number, yes, we do have more inventory, 2.1 months of inventory. It is actually still very low. In order for us to have a balanced market, we need to have between 4 months of inventory to 6 months. So we really are still, a few months away from having that balanced market. We might get there. We'll see. Nobody really knows what's going to happen in the future, but we might get there. Now let's look at median original list price. So in 2021, in Metro Atlanta, people would list on average sort of at 389. Now the median original list price is 450. So, for those of you that were thinking that maybe Georgia was, a little bit less expensive, houses have definitely, appreciated, and they are a little bit more expensive. Now, if we compare them to California, New York, we still
on the lower end.
Exactly, for sure. I mean, for sure. So that is definitely something that you have to consider. Now, if we look at the houses, the sold ratio, we are seeing that they are still selling for 100% of list price. So, yes, are we seeing that some houses are decreasing and are getting some price, discount? Yes, we are, but not all of them, especially when it comes to resale. If the house is moving ready, if the house is in a good school district, good location, we are still seeing that that those homes will get multiple offers.
Yeah.
So it's very important that we know this information, because if you're looking at a house that you love and you know that it has a lot of the things that families are looking for right now, it's probably a good idea to maybe submit a full price offer.
For sure. Yeah, it really is a case by case basis right now. It's a weird shift we're seeing.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely, studying the numbers, looking at comps, seeing
important.
how many days a house has been on the market, seeing what other homes in the area are selling for and how fast they're selling will really help us, know what is the best offer to present. So that's kind of, some of the information that we have right now in terms of the market. Let us know if you have any questions about these numbers. Emily, what do you think about these numbers? Are you surprised? What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think that, last year it was like a frenzy and it was a little stressful. You get a house on the market and it's 24 hours and you have 20 offers, and it's, and then when there becomes a frenzy, people are buying over asking price and maybe not getting the best option for their money because they become desperate and they're like, I have to get this house. Maybe my job's transferring. I have to move in by a certain time. So I'm going to offer 60,000 over because it's important that I move in right now. Now, I feel like since it's softened just a little bit, you are able to get more options for your money without having to overbid on something. So I actually think that this market is a little bit better. It's a little bit easier to manage.
100%
for all parties.
For all parties, yeah, because it was extremely overwhelming, not only for buyers but also for sellers. Just, it was overwhelming. I think that's the best word that I can use. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and Megan will share with us a little bit about the new communities that have some houses available.
Yes. So first, these all are in different price points. So we did that on purpose, just in case some of you are looking in different ranges. So the first one is Northfield, which is a Toll Brothers community. It's actually up and coming where I'm currently living at. They offer 4 to 5 bedrooms, and the base price is starting in the low 900s. So that doesn't necessarily include the lot premium. There are 2 quick move-ins available, and they're listed at 1.27 million. But that includes the lot premiums, like the selections are already made. It's just ready, available to move in. One is currently available to move in, and it's a Parkstone contemporary floor plan.
Okay.
And then the second one will be ready in December, and that is a Rosebriar French Country, and that one's just below 1.3 million. Again, that includes the lot premium. All the selections are already made since it's so far along.
Yep.
Also, they do have 10 available home sites still. So there are definitely still some options, and these lots do have bigger lot sizes. So if you want to be more spread out, I would say this would be a good community for you. Coming as a really up and coming part of Metro Atlanta. They are building a new city center.
Yes.
It should be ready soon. I had gone by there like a few months ago, right before I was moving myself to Cumming, and it looked really nice. There's going to be a mini golf area, tons of restaurants and shopping. It's like a really big piece of land that they're putting fun stuff on. So this area also will be by Vickery Village is a really key place up there. The collection, still easy access to Halcyon and Avalon. So there's definitely stuff to do up here.
Yes.
What else here? Oh, incentives. So that's the fun part. So right now, Toll Brothers is actually offering tons of incentives.
That's amazing.
Tons. So right now they're doing 50% off lot premiums. So this is for the homes that are to be built, minus the quick move-in. And then they're also doing 15,000 in closing costs with Toll Brothers Mortgage, which is pretty good for closing costs. And they're even doing $3,000 in design center costs. And that actually ends at the end of this month. So if you want to get extra money, you would probably need to put in an offer right away.
Right. And we have a video for the Rose Fire floor plan, I believe.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
It's a really nice floor plan.
So yeah, if you want to see that floor plan, definitely reach out to us. We can share that video with you. And they're even doing an additional 15,000 towards design center selections if you're a new Toll Brothers customer.
Oh.
So definitely a lot of money to play with incentive wise.
Yeah.
So I think that really hits on the Toll Brothers community.
Okay.
So my next one is a Taylor Morrison built community called Alcovy Creek, and that is in Lawrenceville, which Lawrenceville neighbors like Snellville, Peachtree Corners is near there, Duluth, Buford, yes. So it's more on the east side and has easy access to the city too. So this community has 5 quick move-ins available in 1 basement lot left. And the bedrooms are 4 to 5 and square footage wise, 2,500 to 3,200. They're going to be selling in the 500s to low 600s.
Nice.
And these are single family homes. And then their incentives are up to $48,000 in closing costs, and you can use it as a rate buy down.
Oh,
so that would be very nice, especially if you're scared about the interest rates.
Right.
So, and the schools there are actually really highly ranked. You got Alcova Elementary School on greatschools.org. That has a 7 out of 10. Dacula Middle School, and that's a 7 out of 10 as well. And then Dacula High School, and that's ranked 80th out of 429 Georgia high schools. So pretty high up there, pretty high.
Love it.
This area is also nearby access to I-85. It's about 10 minutes to get to I-85 if you need to commute into the city for work. It's close to a Target. It's about 15 minutes away. And there's also a Marshall's, Hobby Lobby, and Starbucks, of course.
Have everything.
And then the nearest grocery store is a Publix and Kroger, and those are both 8 minutes away.
Nice.
So, oh, and the commute to the airport. So if you are a commuter, it's 45 minutes, a little bit over 45 minutes.
Not bad.
Not too bad, no.
No.
So my next one is townhomes.
Okay.
And that's in Duluth. And it actually is on the border of Johns Creek, this area. So the schools are really top notch for this one too. You've got good Gwinnett County schools. They have 4 quick move-ins starting in the mid 400s. And then they have 2 to-be-built townhomes starting in the right below 400 at 396. So that's pretty low for the area. Like that, it's a really great location. It's near the city. It's near Alpharetta. You get the best of both worlds in that regard.
Yeah.
There are currently 16 home sites available and release more in the future. So if you're waiting, you still have a little bit of time, but if not, there are those quick move-ins available. And they have 3 bedrooms, 1809 to 1970 square footage, and they each have a 2-car garage.
Oh, nice.
Incentives, they are doing 15,000 to use any way you want it. So you could do that rate buy down, or you could just use it for closing costs, design selections even. So that's nice that you get to choose what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
And then they have an additional 5,000 in closing costs. So definitely a good area to be in, especially if you want to do new construction. It's hard to come by in that area. So
very hard. Yeah.
Good opportunities.
Yes. Awesome. I love it. Very well. Thank you, Megan, for that. Great information. We'll put Megan's email address. You'll see it on the slides in a few minutes. So if you have any questions about this communities, definitely reach out to her. She will give you all the information.
All the details.
Yeah. So we have a question here. Okay. So
Protection.
the question is, what type of protections do buyers have? Could a seller refuse to sell weeks or days before you close in on the house? So, I mean, usually, if the seller decided that they want to cancel the contract, you could basically sue them for breach of contract. So that's basically your protection. You could, you know, I don't think we've seen it ever happen. I'm sure it has, but it would be a lawsuit because they are breaching the contract. If the buyer is the one that walks away, then the buyer gets to lose their earnest money. But if it's the seller, then basically we would have to go ahead and sue them for breach of contract. Yeah, and it can definitely get a little bit messy because then the seller, let's say that they just cancel the contract because they don't want to sell you the house. Then the house would get a lien, and then, you would have to go to court. So it can get a little bit messy. I don't know if that answers your question. Let us know. Okay, and now let's keep going. So now the question, how much money do I need to buy a house? So, a lot of us, when we are buying a house, we don't really know how much money do I really need to have in the bank, how much money I'll need to have available before it's actually the closing cost, the closing date, I'm sorry. You're welcome, Joshua. So we're going to go through that right now. So first of all, of course, you have your down payment, which can be anywhere from 3% to 20%. Then you have your closing cost, which we usually use a calculation depending on the price, 2.75 or 3% of the value of the house. Some of the other costs that you guys might need to be aware of would be the inspection. We definitely want you to inspect the house, and it's going to be anywhere from $600 to $800. It will depend on what other services you're adding to the inspection, because you can have like a general inspection of the house, but you can also add termite inspection, radon. You can add a structural inspection. If the house has stucco, you can add that as well. So it's really going to depend on what you are inspecting or what extra items you're adding into the inspection. But that definitely gives you an idea of how much it would cost. And yes, we do have inspectors that we work with and really love how passionate they are about their work, and they will give you a report, and it's going to be very detailed. And yes, we can share the contact information.
And they will answer any questions you have. Like, even if you're thinking in the future, like you want to replace something, we've seen that all the time. Our inspector we usually use does that.
Yeah. Correct. Now, earnest money. So what is earnest money? So when you submit an offer and your offer is accepted, then you have to put your earnest money down, which is basically like a good faith deposit. So you're telling the seller, hey, I'm serious about buying this house. Here is my earnest money. And it's usually between 1% to 3%. And what depends the amount really, if it's like a multiple offer situation and you want to set yourself apart and show, hey, I'm a strong buyer, I have my earnest money available, here it is. We usually increase that to 2 or 3%. So it all depends on what the house that you're buying, multiple offers or not. And then of course the appraisal usually happens again once we are past that due diligence period. The appraiser is going to be the person that will go look at the house and then report back to the bank and let them know, okay, the house is actually worth X. And then, if you are in a contract where you're paying more, then we will have to go back to the seller and tell them, hey, seller, you know what? Unfortunately, your house is worth X, so we need you to adjust the price. At that point, the seller actually has the right to either decide to sell or not. But most of the time, we've seen that they're like, okay, that's that's fine. They'll adjust the price. So that's kind of overall the price, the money that you would need to put down to buy a house. And we actually did this exercise. So right now in Metro Atlanta, the average home price is $451,000. So I thought, okay, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and show you how much you would be paying and show you the numbers. I don't know if you guys can see if this is being they can see it.
Just switch the screen. I think you just on your.
Oh, so
switch one
is,
over.
let's see.
Just one forward.
I didn't know if it was covering. So you guys can see that, correct?
Yes. Mhm.
Perfect. Okay, so your down payment. So let's say for this house, that's $451,000. Let's say you're saying you're putting a 10% down. So you have the amount here, of course, 45,100. Then your closing costs, we are estimating 3%. So 13,530. And then, of course, you have your inspection, you have your earnest money, you have your appraisal. Now, the earnest money, something important to mention, will be subtracted from the amount that you're bringing to closing. So it's not an additional amount, just to clarify that.
It's basically a portion of your down payment.
Correct.
That's the way I like to tell people.
Yeah, I love that. That makes it easy. So, and then of course, the appraisal, your inspection you can pay it with your credit card. And then Emily will share it with us, but the appraisal is basically also still considered part of your closing cost. So when they give you the keys of the house, the day that you were actually going to the attorney's office, you would have to have available the 48,630 minus your earnest money. So that kind of gives you an idea if you were to buy a house that's priced at $451,000. Now, keep in mind, this is putting 10% down. There might be opportunities, depending on your application, that you can put less money down. And Emily will share more of that in a second. So let us know if you have any questions about that. I see here one, will you need to have a down payment if you use a VA loan? Love it. Great question. If you are, and thank you, Joshua, if that's the case, if you are buying a house with a VA loan, then you don't have to have a down payment, which is really, really
Very nice.
Yeah.
That is our thank you to your service.
Yes.
Or our country's thank you to our service. Yes, you do not have to have a down payment for a VA home.
I love it.
You
Okay.
still have closing costs, but that initial 10% down or 3%, 3 to 10% is waived.
Correct. Okay. Hopefully that answered the question. And now I am going to turn this to Emily. Emily, share with us a little bit more about this numbers. Tell us everything.
Absolutely. So a lot of just recently, well, last year, I feel like we had interest rates really low, but I feel like that was almost like a false, because we're just trying to flood the economy with, I don't feel like it was realistic, but now our numbers are kind of more realistic. Right now for conventional loan, you can get around a 4.875. But people have a lot of questions. Will interest rates go down? Or maybe I should wait on buying a home. Maybe I should wait till the end of the year because maybe prices will drop. Are interest rates going to go up or down? And so we kind of did this spreadsheet to show the difference. So at this point, the way the feds and everything is looking, and obviously we don't have a crystal ball, so we don't know 100%, but the way the economy and everything is shifting, it looks like interest rates could be going up.
Okay.
And so right now we have around a 4.875, but they could go up to 6 by the end of the year. And so with that in mind, if you were saying, well, maybe I want to wait on the purchase price, maybe the market has gotten a little bit soft and maybe prices are going to go down a little bit. Well, maybe you wait to the end of the year and prices did maybe drop just a little bit, but the interest rate went up, you're really not helping yourself at all. Definitely right now is a very prime time to buy, because for instance, if you look at our thing here, so say you buy a $451,000 home and your interest rate right now is the 4.875. Your monthly payment is around $29.74. If interest rates go up, say in October or November, they go up a whole percent, there would have to be a $48,000 price reduction to equal your same payment amount. If you look in the screen where it says the $29.71, that would have had to be, so if your interest rate goes up October, November, your payment on your house is going to go up like $250 as well. So I don't see, and Pau can answer that, but I don't see home prices dropping that dramatically. I wouldn't see that happening. It seems like things, maybe you would negotiate a little bit of concessions, but there's not at this point where we're seeing a bunch of money come, because as the first screen said, you know, we're still at a home shortage. We don't have so much supply and demand that we need to drop the price that much. If interest rates went up 2 points or 2%, that would have to be, I mean, that would have to be like an $88,000 price difference. I don't see interest rates going up a full 2%, but in June, they went up to 6.6 for just like a 3-week period. Inflation was going, you know, one way, and they were trying to curb it. And so there was probably about a 3-week window in June, at the beginning of June, where prices were up at 6.6 again. And so they dropped back down and things kind of leveled out. But I definitely think right now is more of a prime time to buy and put in an offer. The market seems pretty stable, and it definitely seems like right now you're not fighting with 20 other people trying to put in an offer and having to overbid. Your interest rate's at 4.875. That is pretty stable. That's actually more realistic than what it had been for the, you know, for a while.
Yes.
So
Love it. So right now, what we're seeing, so the 4.875 is kind of the number that we can, you know, be thinking of at this credit score.
yes, exactly.
Okay.
Depending on, there's always, you know, definitely some variables. If your debt to income is a little bit higher or a little bit lower, the purchase price, there's going to be a couple things, your zip code, but it's really going to be about that. You know, maybe you would be at 4.9, but pretty much 4.875 is a pretty accurate number, you could say, what we have right now.
Got it.
For this scenario.
Got it. Okay. I think there's a question for you on the chat box, Emily.
Let's see here. Thank you for sharing this slide. Very helpful. I was reading the Fed minutes from July meeting. There was discussion of tightening and reducing the balance sheet. I know recently there's been talk about the Fed funds rate, but can you explain what effect a balance sheet reduction has on rates as well? Well, so that's a little bit of a complex question. But so if they balance, sometimes that doesn't have a huge dramatic, like it's not necessarily, a lot of times what's initially hit is your small short-term loans, and then the big term loans is maybe more of a small adjustment. Your short-term loans, such as your credit lines, your car payments, that's going to be affected, you know, more. This is going to be more of a small adjustment. However, when they think inflation is going up, they're trying to recorrect. I don't know if that answers the question or not.
Okay.
Hi, Anthony, by the way.
Okay, thank
Read
you.
your comments.
Yes. Okay. So he said, yes, that's helpful. Thank you. Awesome. Good morning. So feel free to reach out to Emily. We will share her contact information as well at the end of the slides. If you guys have any questions for her in regards to, applying for a loan, if you want her to kind of do numbers like this, like what we have on the screen for you to really get a better idea of what your monthly payment looks like. I think this really helps you understand, okay, how much can I buy? Do I feel comfortable with this monthly payment? And if not, also Emily can tell you, hey, you can do this, a few things. You can pay this credit card. You can maybe save a little bit more money so you can get a better deal. Right, Emily?
Yes, definitely. Because there's a lot of times, everybody's scenario is different and there's not always one size fits all. So it's my job to make sure that you get the best scenario for your situation and ultimately how you can maximize your dollars and everybody can come out in the end happy. You can get the house you want and, not be overwhelmed with too high of a payment.
Exactly. Awesome. And then obviously this is 10% down. The numbers that we're looking at is 10% down. But as Emily mentioned earlier, there are other loans where you can put 0% down or where you can put even less money down. So definitely worth having the conversation with Emily so you know exactly what programs she has and if if the monthly payment kind of makes sense to you. All right. Thank you for that, Emily.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to go into the rent versus buy a section just because, okay, we just looked at, your monthly payment for buying, it could be anywhere from the high 2000s to mid 3000s, I'm sorry. So it's just like, it's mind blowing to me because sometimes we don't realize that you could be actually buying a house as opposed to paying for rent. So just an example, this house is actually in Alpharetta and it's a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath that's currently being rented for $3,950. I mean, I don't know, to me, just mind blowing. This other house in Marietta, same 4 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 1.5 bath. You could rent it for $3,100. In Atlanta, which rents, oh my gosh, Atlanta is so expensive. I was looking at other rental properties in Atlanta. It's just so expensive. And for the square footage, like this, it's not even 2,000 square feet, but it's, 3,500. So now if we were to buy, we were just looking at numbers for a house that was 450. This one is 438. It's pretty new. It was built in 2016, 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 1.5 bath in Beaufort.
Wow.
Yeah, with great schools. So, there's definitely some options. This one incoming. 4 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 1.5 bath, built in 2013 at 450. That's really good as well. Alpharetta, a little bit higher, so 500,000. 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 1.5 bath, built in year 2000. Again, there are definitely some opportunities out there, and it's all about understanding your numbers, what you qualified for, and just, having those conversations with us and with Emily. Yes. So that is it in terms of the slide.
Yes.
So that's the presentation that we had for you guys today. obviously, these are our phone numbers, so please feel free to text us, call us. We love to hear from you. Let us know. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions or send it on the chat. We would love to hear from you. Let us know also if you feel like this information is useful and it kind of makes you understand a little bit better the numbers. We have one question here, so let's see. Has home affordability due to higher rates caused more sellers to switch their homes to rent in an effort to attract buyers that no longer available to buy? So I'm not sure I'm understanding your question. So sellers saying, as opposed to me selling the house, I'm renting it? Is that the question?
I think so. I think that's more common. There are a lot of investors in the Metro Atlanta. So if they're trying to sell their investment just to cash out, I've heard literally from one listing I was trying to get last week that they would just probably end up renting it and if it doesn't sell. I've heard that multiple times, but usually that's just with investors. I don't think we've ran into that with actual like
Buyer,
homeowners.
sellers, home, yeah.
They live in the house. Like
Mhm.
I don't think they want to deal with the process of getting a property manager. And so, yeah, I think it just depends on the case.
Right.
I will say I have heard a lot of, since rent has been a demand, a lot of them are requiring 6 months down, 6 months upfront of rental, which if you're coming up with that much money, you might as well put that towards a down payment.
Wow.
If you're having to put that much money, I mean, to me, I'm like, if you can buy a house, your payment ends up being $500 cheaper. And then the money you have in cash, you can put towards a down payment. And then you have something that you have equity in. To me, it just makes more sense. But
Right.
that's just me.
Yes. The further away you get from the like downtown Atlanta, home prices definitely do go down. Like Canton is a really affordable area.
Yeah.
And Flowery Branch is also up and coming. It's right northeast of Beaufort. Definitely more lower prices the further you get away.
Yeah, but there's definitely so many newer areas that, you know, the way that Atlanta is growing is that you don't really have to go to Atlanta to have, you know, shopping, to have doctors, to have good schools, to have a nice park. You can really stay within your community.
Definitely.
Without having to drive 30, 40 minutes. I always ask when we have families coming over and moving into our area, I like to understand what's their lifestyle like, because sometimes everybody's like, well, I want to be like 30 minutes or 20 minutes from the airport. And I'm like, well, do you need to be traveling every week, or do you actually travel every other month? And they're like, well, I just want to be able to have, you know, kind of everything around me. And if you are in Flowery Branch, you have everything around you. If you are in Canton, you have everything around you. You still have, you know, your Target, your Walmart, your Kroger, your Publix, hospitals, schools, parks. So you really have it all. So you only kind of go to Atlanta if you're going to go to the airport, maybe go to a concert, go watch a game, things like that. But you can definitely still move to the burbs. and yes, you have your Chick-fil-A.
Yes,
gym,
Chick-fil-A.
everything. Yeah. So you don't really have to worry about, you know, being out in the suburbs, because you still have everything, right, Emily?
Yes. I'm incoming and I've got everything I need here in Cumming.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see a few other questions. You are welcome. I'm glad you guys are finding this information valuable. Also, have you guys dealt with homes owned by iBuyers? I won't bring a name into any discussion, but it sounds familiar to closed door, but I've heard that working with some of these corporate entities can be a pain. Is it
like Open Door?
Yeah. So yes, we've worked with iBuyers or with companies like Open Doors. Zillow is no longer buying properties, but they used to offer pad. There's definitely a few, and yes, we work with them all the time. It is challenging to work with them because most of the time they don't pick up the phone. Everything has to be via email. So in real estate, you need to have that person that you can call and they will answer. It's just very important.
Yes.
And they just like to do the entire transaction via email. And then they have more of a corporate, 9 to 5 time. And then they're like, okay, you will hear from us in the next 5 to 7 business days. And it's like,
we need to know.
Yeah, we kind of need to know if, this house is going to work for our clients or not. Now, I have to say, as the market has slowed down a little bit, they are getting a little bit better about communication. But yes, it's definitely challenging, honestly, to work with them when it comes to, them selling one of their investment properties.
And a lot of them you'll see are sitting on the market long periods of time, months. So
yeah.
Yeah.
You can definitely still find some good deals though.
Yeah, they're out there.
They're definitely out there. Yeah. What else? I think that's pretty much it for today. Let us know if you guys are thinking about moving to a specific area in Metro Atlanta. And if you have any questions, I'm always curious to know what areas you guys are interested in, and also what other videos we should be making.
Yes. Give us ideas.
Yeah, give us ideas. Let us know. Thank you again for joining us on a Saturday. Again, our contact information is on the screen, so feel free to call us, text us. We would love to hear from you guys. Emily, anything else that you might want to add?
No, I think that we covered a lot, but definitely reach out, and I'd love to, even if you have a scenario, just a question, shoot me a text, call me on the phone, and I'd be happy to answer or run a scenario for you.
Yeah, I love it. I know a lot of us will be looking at houses online this weekend. Also, something important to mention is that we can, if you see a house on any of the super fun apps like, Realtor.com, Zillow, Redfin, you can send it to us and tell us, hey, I'm interested in this house. Can you give me more information? And we can give you information about pretty much any house in Georgia. So just let us know how we can help you. All right. So I think we are going to end this webinar for today. Again, thank you so much. We really enjoyed doing this and just kind of talking to you. Let us know if it's helpful. The next one will be in September. Same thing. We think that probably Saturdays are better for everybody because you're not trying to get to work. You're not trying to do a million things at the same time.
Right.
So yeah, we'll do that. We'll definitely send the invite again. If you want to join us next month, we'll see what's happening on the market then. I'm excited to see what interest rates are going to be. And Emily will hopefully, are you going to join us next month, Emily?
Yes, I plan to. I'll keep you updated.
Please do. Well, thanks everybody. We hope you guys have an amazing weekend.
Yes, enjoy it.
Yes, be safe out there. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.